This is the animal story. Now, this happened late last week in Iowa. A woman apparently has declared that she tried to declare giraffe droppings, feces at the Minneapolis airport. And she was taken aside and nearly arrested for bringing back in the giraffe droppings from a trip to Africa she had taken. And she said she likes to make art out of things she finds in other countries.
Can't you just get a shirt?
He said, you can't do that. They said you cannot do that. They said it was the first time anybody had declared giraffe fecal matter to their knowledge.
No, we have giraffes in the U.S. Is it a disease thing?
Yeah, it was a problem. She had declared it, and she could have faced a penalty of $300 to $1,000, but they said, if you'll just get rid of it, we'll let you go. It's because she didn't know, she said. And yes, they said if she brings in giraffe feces, it could lead to some disease that we don't have here in the United States. I forget what it was, but that's what the Custom and Border Protection officials said. Carrying fecal matter, really of any kind.
Hand, foot, and neck disease.
That was it. It was foot and mouth. That's what it was. It was foot and mouth disease. That's right.
Yeah, no plants or animals.
Swine fever and foot and mouth disease from the fecal matter of the giraffe. She said she was going to make a nice necklace out of it. And that she had done that with other things before.
Oh, like you've never made a poop necklace?
Yeah.
Kelly, you're going to camp this weekend. Maybe you could bring that up with your counselor.
Maybe. We're doing our
Do you know your counselor's name yet?
Not yet. I'm going in completely blind. I mean, we're driving up to Camp
Think
Blood.
you'll get a guy or a gal?
I hope it's a blonde.
I have no idea. I don't know, but I'm so excited about the trip.
Do you know how many campers you'll be sharing the cabin with?
No. I don't know anything. They said, print your ticket and come on.
What are you bringing with you?
Well, I am taking a lot of layering clothes, because I think you have, and I'm packing 8 salads in my cooler so that I can stop along the way.
Kill him first.
And
Yeah. Which one going to take out? The annoying one eating this lettuce.
I'm taking my oil and vinegar, my balsamic vinegar, and I'm taking 8 prepackaged salads in my cooler.
How many dietary restrictions do you think there are going to be at this camp?
Could be a few.
People, your peers.
Could be
That's what I'm saying. I think this age group is going to have dietary restrictions.
We
The
all
drugs, the CPAP machines.
I'm taking that.
There'll be a giant hum over Crystal Lake.
I'm taking my CPAP machine to Crystal Lake. Do you think Jason, when he gets over you and sees a CPAP machine, is somewhat confused? Like, what is this guy?
He probably wears one too.
Take off the hockey mask. Yeah. But that's his new
No need
man.
to stab him. Just hold his hose for a minute.
Just crimp the hose.
What about your travel partner? What's his diet like?
He's in pretty good shape. I think his diet is pretty normal. We'll stop for cheeseburgers, and I'll take out my
Smoke break?
We'll stop for a smoke break and cheeseburgers. He reminds me a lot of you, Dave. And then I'll pull out my
Sounds like a cool guy.
salad and oil and vinegar dressing. The other animal stories from Indianapolis late last week. There was a monkey native to Africa, a potus monkey that can weigh up to 30 pounds, spotted all around Indianapolis neighborhoods, and finally caught after one person said he saw it drinking beer out of the fridge in his garage. And he said nobody would believe he did. He said he saw it take a beer, open it, and drink it. And then he called 911 and nobody would believe him. But one guy said, yeah, I saw it coming across my yard.
I work from home, so I was in the middle of a meeting and I just saw something run across my front yard here. And at first I thought it was a dog and then realized it was the monkey that's on the loose and saw it run right into that vacant house there. So
they got it. One person said he watched him dig through somebody's garbage can outside the garage, and again, take out all sorts of food items and take it.
He's hungry.
They caught him.
Obviously, there are concerns for public safety, but we also have concerns for the monkey. I mean, we didn't want anyone to injure the monkey. We didn't want the monkey getting hit by a car. Obviously, our officers are not going to know how to deal with a monkey. I've been in law enforcement 24 years. I've never dealt with a monkey.
No, not in Indianapolis. I don't think you would. They caught him peacefully, tranquilized him, and they've taken him back to a local zoo. Now they're going to figure out what to do with him. That resolved itself late last week. The other things about now this was new to me. In Pennsylvania, outside of Pittsburgh, a guy found an alligator on his porch.
In Pittsburgh.
And that's a big surprise.
That's pretty far away from the Everglades.
I would say. I mean, how they figure, like, how does an alligator get to a porch in Pittsburgh? Apparently,
Act natural. You know what they say? If you act like you're supposed to be here, no one will.
everybody, yeah.
He wasn't swimming up the Susquehanna. Whatever that is.
No,
Allegheny.
no. And in fact, with the weather turning colder, they're concerned about several gators that are in the area. One neighbor has the gators. They're trying
That can't
to
be legal,
they're
can it?
investigating. It is not legal. This is the person who wound up with an alligator on his porch. He had a friend coming to visit, and the friend spotted the gator.
I was sitting there, and I got a phone call from one of the friends of mine that's going to come up, and she says, whatever you do, don't come out on your porch. There's a gator out on your porch.
Good advice.
How do they know not to go out?
Got it.
Can you imagine? So he looked out his window, and sure enough, saw
right.
the
Neighbor's right.
gator was sitting there. And the woman stayed down at the end of her porch, or at the end of the driveway with the gator on the porch, called 911. They've investigated, and that same gentleman says, you know what? My neighbors sometimes have gators.
They had problems with the gators down there before. And I said, something needs done because the gators go come out in somebody's yard or end up on someone's porch, and they're going to walk out, and that's going to be there. And here evidently ended up being on my porch.
He's right.
I'm fascinated by this man. I want to spend more time with him.
I could listen to him for hours.
I know.
You should see him too. He's got a big long beard. I mean, the longest beard. He looks like he lives out in the woods. But actually, a friend was coming to see him.
Yeah.
That he hadn't seen in a while. And look what's happened. They got a gator on the porch.
He's getting ready to get cold, that gator.
That's what they were saying. They've now collected 6 gators from the people that live down the street from that gentleman. And
Are there any more gators we need to know about? Well, there may be a couple over here in the basement.
I mean, he said they've had problems before.
Tell us this is the last gator.
Yeah, let's,
I promise that's the last one.
We got to put an end to this.
They went and got, they think, the last gator, and all is well now.
Are these full size?
Full growth.
They were 6-footers.
6-footers?
5 or 6, they said. They were
7.
They didn't look enormous, but they looked,
Not
big
little
enough.
caimans.
They were not little caimans, no. And they had when I saw them on the news, they had their mouths
All taped up?
taped shut, I always feel bad for the gators when they have to tape
Well,
their
it's
mouths shut,
embarrassing.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
can't even open your snout.
It's like when you have to put a blindfold on a hawk.
Yeah.
Looks unnatural.
Yeah, it's their one weakness too.
Yeah.
Because they're such powerful biters, but
Yeah.
there's no strength to lift. So that's why it's like, just get a piece of tape, and you're like, forget it.
Yeah, I know. It's like it's their kryptonite.
It's the one thing.
It's like
Oh, not duct tape.
yeah.
And what if they're congested? They can't breathe through their mouth.
My son said to me this weekend, it was a wind-up. He said, what's the difference? He came to me seriously and said, what's the difference between an alligator and a crocodile? And I said, it's a great question. And I said, we recently discussed this on the air, and I remember one has a more elongated snout.
Yes.
And one has a shorter snout.
And I believe one's teeth are visible when the mouth is closed.
Correct.
Is that the croc?
Yes, I said I think the crocodile has it when the mouth is closed, the teeth are visible. I think the alligator may be more aggressive, and that the crocodile lives in different parts of the world. There's only one area where they both live together. And my son said, no, the alligator says, see you later. The crocodile says, after a while. And I raised my fist to my temples and just said, that's it for me.
Is that what they're teaching you at college?
Is that what they're teaching
Is that what
you?
I'm paying for?
Is that what they're teaching you?
I learned something.
Now, you said, Kelly, your son is home for fall break.
Yes,
Now,
he is,
I
yeah.
recall being, and hopefully I grew out of it, but I remember the first time that I came home for a significant amount of time after being away at college. You instantly think you know everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen any? Because I was a pompous, arrogant prick.
No, he's pretty much the same.
He's still
he's still
himself?
himself.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
it's really good to see him. And actually, I've gotten from 2 different professors. His grades have improved since high school. And from 2 different professors, we've gotten, what they give out is pirate flags. They're the pirates. So 2 professors have written, both of us said, on behalf of your son, we present this pirate flag for good grades. Arg.
Does he
Really?
put it on his helmet?
It's not even a flag. It's just an email. It's just an email. It says,
Arg.
we've just given your son a pirate flag. Arg.
Can you print it and put it on the fridge?
Yeah, we have. But I wrote the first one back and said, "Are you absolutely sure this is the right?" I'm convinced.
You must have my son
I'm
confused.
convinced you've got the wrong
freshman.
family here.
I
But
don't recall that happening in college.
we got 2 ARGs so far.
Wow.
A couple of good
I
grades.
have my doctorate. The right ARG at the end of my emails.
Dr. R.
That's what they write. ARG.
I studied Shakespeare
At
and
the end of it.
you-
At the end of it.
So do you have midterms before fall break or
Yes,
after?
they are coming. They're not here yet, but the midterms are on the way. Yeah, so he's trying to study up for those. But he's had a nice time, a nice visit in.
Did you grill him about his weight? I know you promised to body shame.
He walked through shirtless. And I looked him up and down. I said, "Yeah, he put on a couple of pounds." And then I said, "You're looking a little soft." And my wife didn't like that. She goes, "Don't you dare body shame. We don't body shame in this home." And I was like, "You're right." And he moved on through. And then when he was out of eyesight of her, he dropped his underpants just a little to show me the top of his crack.
Hey,
See, there
Rob.
it is. It's that grown-up impudence.
That's right. His pure impudence after she said, because she called me down for body shaming him. You know, I've done that a few times.
It's too bad because if he had the dad of 3 or 4 years ago, y'all could have broke bread, literally,
we
and
could.
eaten it.
Yeah, we could have, but not anymore.
No,
I'm
no.
trying to.
Body shaming household.
I body shaming. It's
Will you body shame those of you at your camp this weekend if they can't keep up as the killer chases?
very likely.
Yeah, you got to get chased around a couple of
Let's go.
cabins.
Cardio.
I bet the killer himself probably takes a knee every once in a while. You know,
I bet they tell the killer, "Hey, man, go easy. These guys are in their like,
Bad
their
knees.
50s." Yeah.
Let me tell
They
you.
paid a lot of money
Yeah.
for this. No heart attacks this year.
I'll tell you this now. I don't want to brag, but remember last week I told you there's a tree very close to our house. It's a miniature Japanese maple, and it's within like a foot of the house. It's literally growing up through the porch. It was designed that way, and we like it a lot because birds and squirrels will be on. It's a really nice thing to look at out the
Very
window.
Miyagi of you.
Yeah, and in the fall it turns orangish red. It's beautiful. But I've been told by 4 or 5 people that have come over and they've said, "You really need to move that tree because the roots will grow into the foundation of the house." So my wife texted the previous owner and said, "What do you know about this?" And he said, "Well, when we planted it, it was 22 years ago." And he said, "If I were you, I'd go under the house into the crawl space and take a look to see if you see any root damage down there." Remember?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
cracking of the concrete.
Yeah, see. So my wife said on Saturday, "Why don't you get down there and do that?" To me.
To you.
To me. And I said, well, are you sure? But then finally I said, "You know what?
Throw on your dickies.
I'm a man."
Just suit up.
Went and got on my dickies, put on my goggles, put on my long socks and my long pants, and went down there and crawled down. And now at one point it's like 3 or 4 feet. You have to really crawl through it to get to where I wanted to go. And I thought to myself, all right, I feel pretty good down here. I could move pretty well. So I was happy about that. Tons of spiders.
I was going to say they're creatures.
Tons
No
of
alligators.
You have a flashlight on your head?
I did. I put a flashlight up. I taped it to my hat. I put on my Montreal Canadiens hat, and I taped the flashlight.
Finally,
to
good
it.
choice.
Yes, I was like, let me use that. Because otherwise,
I never wear it.
There'd be spider eggs in my hair.
That's right, there
if I
would.
didn't do that. There really would have been.
Were there any Montreal fans down there? Hey. Bonjour.
I put on my Canadiens hat and taped my flashlight to it. But I got down there and looked all around, and I was happy to report it was very dry, and all I saw was...
It's important.
You want dry.
Well, yeah, I know that from, like you have talked about, with your basement. You do some endorsements for basement systems, and it was dry. And I got to the area where the tree was, but it's enclosed by cinder blocks and brick, so I can't really see. But then in reading online, it said that it shouldn't grow through cinder blocks and bricks. The worst that happens is it inhibits the root growth, so it's not, it kills the tree, but the tree seems healthy to me. So
but
now I'm not sure
it
where
still
to go.
can continue further down into the earth
Into the
itself.
earth.
Correct?
It could go
I
under
guess.
your foundation.
And I can't get to that
Yeah,
part.
you
I
can't
can't see
access
it.
that.
I can't access it because it's all cinder block in there. So I'm not sure what to do. I'd love to keep it, but I've had advice to remove it. So I really just don't know.
Or sometimes they'll work their way maybe underneath the foundation and work their way back up. Out
I know.
of your crawl space.
I mean, it says online it takes between 20 and 40 years to get it there, but it's been 22. I mean,
It's amazing to see what tree roots can do.
Yes.
I mean, usually it's the bigger trees like a pine or an oak.
Tear up
But
sidewalks.
they just tear up sidewalks
Right.
and houses.
Exactly.
And driveways.
They can't. Exactly. Now, this is a miniature tree, so it said it wouldn't do that through concrete, but I just don't know. I don't know what to do because we really like it, and I'd love to not rip it up.
You may have to go out there with an axe and pow, pow, pow.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, I'm trying to hire a guy to come over and replace it, transplant it, but we really like it where it is, and plus that's expense and everything.
Leave it.
You think?
Yeah, I go down there in another 2 to 3 years.
I mean,
crawl under there again.
How long are we planning to be in this home?
Yeah, I mean,
a while. You know, I mean, this is our forever.
This sounds like the next person, the next owner's problem.
My son.
You don't want that house. He'll see first thing he's going to do is sell it.
Maybe. But he'll have to deal with it when he sells it.
You want the cash, homie.
He and my dog.
Yeah, if somebody had done something about these roots 20 years ago.
Yeah, they didn't know what they were looking at.
Somebody just cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars.
They say one little root, man, it's all it takes.
And now these trees are protected in our state.
I can't move it.
You can't cut it.
Can't move it now.
I can see it like you're like you left fossil scratch marks down there that they'll find, that archaeologists will find in 1,000 years.
That's possible.
Chinese government won't let you cut these now.
Now, you know, with the new overlords and all.
Can't do it.